cloud, and there it goes. Well, let's start. We are beginning our meeting promptly. But we believe we have everyone here. Do we have everyone, Paula, that you know of before we start?
I am taking attendance. I think there's a couple people missing. But
Okay.
you go ahead and get started.
Okay. If you want me to wait another minute or so?
I wouldn't wait past 05. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me start off. We are not having Ruth from Workforce on today, but I will be reading off from her PowerPoint presentation. She was not able to attend, but we do have Evelyn, and I'll introduce you in a little bit. And she will go over some grants in regards to hiring, okay? All right. Here's Julia. All right, it's 11:04. Oh, there goes the noise. So let me go ahead and put my headset on. All right, we're going to start. Let's get started. It's great seeing you guys again. We're on our third presentation. Today's workshop will cover small business insurance, commercial business insurance, HR, and grants that can assist you with hiring. Remember, if you ever have questions regarding your business or need guidance, remember that both Berwyn Development Center and WBDC are here to support you. So feel free to reach out and let's make the most out of this great opportunity in working together. My information is on, and I'm hoping you see it.
We can see it.
It looks like we may have lost Laura. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I think she might have dropped off. Let me just text her real quick. I'm sure she'll be back in momentarily. Hold on one second, guys.
Okay. Sonia, are you on here?
Hello, I'm back. I just communicated with Laura. The line for the Zoom was dropped accidentally. She's going to log back in and then we'll start from there. She may be having some technical difficulties this morning. Okay, she's back.
Yes, I'm gonna have to turn off my computer. I have a feeling my computer's been flickering, and I think because of the rains that are going on outside right now. So just to so this doesn't happen again. Okay, hold on. All right, so I am back. Thank you, Felicitas, for that. Today we have the pleasure of having Lisbeth, broker owner from Linares Insurance Group, and Evelyn Lopez, which she's a business service representative from National Able. network with us. Both are providing wonderful and amazing services for small businesses like yours. Thank you, Elizabeth and Evelyn, for joining us and enriching our session with your valuable insights. Now, we are going to hand it over. I believe I put down Evelyn because we switched them today. Give me a second. Yes, we did. Evelyn, if you want to dive in, go ahead. Not sure if you muted. Let me see where you're at.
Yes, would you be able to
Yeah, I'll be
present the screen for me?
yes. Do you see it?
No.
Okay, so I'll go ahead. Let me give you a second. Because when it turned off everything, it completely. Do you see it now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. And it does say it's recording. Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Evelyn.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. As Laura said, my name is Evelyn Lopez, and I am a business service rep with National Able Network. At National Able, what we do is we're a nonprofit workforce development organization that helps both employers and job seekers with their workforce needs. This flyer that's up on the screen gives a little bit more detail about the different programs that National Able offers to employers. But today, this morning, we're going to be discussing a little bit more about OJT opportunities, which stands for on the job training, and what we call WEX, which is work experience, and the difference between those two programs. Go ahead, Laura, you can go to the next slide. I wanted to start off by saying that all of these services that are provided by National Able are at no cost to the employer, so it's completely free to you. What we do for the employers is we assist them with their recruitment services. So if they need a workforce staff or they're looking for certain criteria of people, we step in to help them source from our current client database. So we have a database of clients that we assist in getting new opportunities, either because they've been displaced or they've taken some kind of training with us and they're looking to get back into the workforce system. We can check our database to see if someone has the skills that fit your workforce needs, or we can also take what we call a reverse referral. Is if, for example, if there's someone that you have already in mind that you interviewed and you think they may be a good fit for the program, we can take those customers as well, qualify them for the program in order for you to assist, use those candidates for potential employees. So what on-the-job training does, it uses funds from the Chicago Workforce Partnership to assist people in getting back to work, as well as offsetting the cost for employers to get the candidates up to speed and the skills that they need. You can go to the next slide, Laura. So the way that works is if once a candidate is selected through OJT, we can reimburse up to $10,000 per candidate. The training will have to be less than 6 months, or $10,000, whichever one comes first. The employer will have to have some basic things set in place. As far as their business registration number, they have to have a payroll system set in place. They must pay the minimum wage and follow all labor laws. Once the candidate has completed their training, the reimbursement will be processed and submitted to the employer. So the employer will submit like pay stubs and their time-in sheets. And once all that documentation is reviewed and submitted, then the employer will receive a reimbursement for that candidate. For the OJT program, there's a minimum of 30 hours that need to be met. That's considered full-time per their guidelines. So as long as it's 30 hours or more, they can participate in that program. The job title or the skill that it can be used with are vast. They just require that it cannot be an entry-level position. It has to be something that we can justify the training for. The other program that we also have is a WEX experience. The work experience is for youth up to age 24. In this process, the National ABLE will hire them on and take care of the payroll completely. And this is for 20 hours up to 500 hours per week. At the moment, we are focusing at our organization, we're focusing on technologically based internship positions. So for example, analyst positions, any IT roles, accounting roles, but we do have partnerships with other nonprofit organizations that conduct the same type of OJT and WEX programs through different industries. So once we talk, if you what we have is not a fit for you and you need WEX, but for a different type of position, I can always refer you to another organization that does the same program, and it will be the same, no cost to you. So as you see, the WEX and OJT are great ways for employers to offset their costs and use that money to fund their business in a different perspective. Some of the benefits to the employer is that depending on the criteria that you fit, you can be reimbursed up to 75% of the wages. For example, if you are paying someone $20 an hour and you qualify for the 75% reimbursement, you at the end, you'll be getting reimbursed $15 per hour on the total hours that you train that person. And that is basically what our WEX and our OJT program consist of. We'll go ahead in the next slide. And then one last thing that I forgot to mention was the Workforce Wednesdays. Workforce Wednesday is another way that we assist employers in marketing their open opportunities. It's weekly job fairs that we have at our different 5 different locations that we have throughout the Chicagoland area. We organize the event, we rent the space. There's no cost to you. All you would have to do is come with your material, whatever positions you are promoting, and feel free to interact with the candidates that come through at that moment. We also have the unemployment office in one of our service buildings, which brings in a lot of traffic as well. We do job ad posting with our Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership website that distributes your job ad to the entire Cook County area. That is also free as well. And then as Laura has up on the screen, if you guys have any questions or you want to discuss anything in more detail, feel free to send me an email or give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to discuss it further and make any referrals that you may need.
My apologies again, everyone. I think Laura is having some difficulties staying logged in, but are there any questions for our subject matter expert today? Any questions for Evelyn? You can put that right in the chat or simply unmute and ask your question. I think there was a question, Evelyn, from one of our attendees. Is the program similar to an internship?
The WEX program is similar. It is similar to an internship, but they're both paid. The only difference between these 2 internships is that the OJT is a training program that's reimbursed, whereas the WEX program is something that our organization will be paying and you will have no out-of-cost pocket.
I see. All right, thank you. I missed that portion. There's another question here in chat. Where are the Workforce Wednesdays held?
Our Workforce Wednesdays are held at our Pilsen. We have a location in Pilsen, a location at Prairie State College, and a location in Evanston. So they rotate weekly at those locations.
There they are. Okay, the slide is up now. That gives you a little bit more information and the date for the next.
No, it's updated. Sorry, Felicitas, that's why that's an old flyer and we kind of skipped over. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Laura's back.
Sorry.
I'll leave it to you, Laura.
Yeah, the electricity just dropped over here, so I had to transfer it to my hotspots. So I'm doing my best, guys. Sorry about
If anybody is interested in there, if anybody wanted more information or wanted to register for the Workforce Wednesday, if you guys send me a quick email, I can send you the calendar link to register for the event.
You mentioned that it's not for entry level, it's more, you said you guys have like technical and accounting. I just wanted to ask about that. Is there any entry level, or are these all people that have like prior experience?
For the work experience, it can be entry level, but for the on-the-job training, because it's going to be, it has to be, we're going to work together to create a plan for the skills that you want this person to gain. It has to be justifiable. For example, you know, something, it can't just be like, oh, a customer service rep, all they're going to do is answer the phones. We can't justify reimbursing 6 months of training for someone who's only going to be able to answer the phones. But if they're going to be like, for example, if they're working in a small business, they're going to be managing the office while you're not there, that's a different story. We can, you know, create a office manager position, and we will go in detail on what skills you're going to want them to do in that time of their training. So as long as the training can be justifiable,
Yes.
then it's a
Okay.
position that we can take on.
And Lisbeth, just so you know, I used to work with Evelyn, and we did OJTs, and we did do some entry level, but like she said, it has to be justifiable. What we did was we sat down with the business owner, found out what their needs were, and if they came in, we just need a receptionist. But if they needed also marketing assistants, then the title changed to marketing assistant. And then that would also cover receptionist duties, how to, and I remember we worked with an insurance agent specifically on this, and that worked out well too.
No, yeah, I'm up for them getting licensed. It's just I found a lot of people get intimidated by the licensing, but I'll definitely send you an email, Evelyn, because I know you have to go to a job fair soon.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, and-
definitely. Yeah, I look forward to that. We'll chat more in detail about that, but we could definitely make that happen.
right, Evelyn, they don't have to be a licensed agent. They could be.
No, they
assistant
don't. We can
manager.
actually work that. We can actually work that as part of their training,
Mhm.
into the training. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me see. I think we're done with your presentation, right? I know. Thank you, Evelyn, for coming on board. And I know you have, she actually has to be in an in-person job fair. So good luck on that. And we'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you. And did they answer the question for, it says here SAV in regards to the internship? Yeah, they did. Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna move on. As mentioned, we're gonna hand it over now to Lisbeth. Go ahead, Liz.
Well,
Libby.
thank you,
Mhm.
Laura, for having me. Hi, Felicitas. Nice to meet you online. And then I know a few like Paola, but I just actually joined the BDC. I've been a Berwyn resident, I don't know, since the 90s. But my business is located in North Riverside, and I always felt like, yeah, I live in Berwyn, but my business is in North Riverside. And then last year I attended a meeting, and they talked about how they're not just helping people in Berwyn, but they're helping people in Cicero, in North Riverside. And that's what made me join the BDC. So I love what Berwyn has done with the shops. I have a lot of friends that had shops and that have gone on to continue to do great things. So I appreciate this time that Laura has given me. Again, I've been an insurance professional for about 23 years now, born and raised in Little Village, and always had I wanted to be a financial advisor. I wanted to help people with their finances, but at 21, I couldn't even balance my own checkbook. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to start an insurance. I'll help people. And then along the way, as I grow, I will also help people with their finances. So my office is located in North Riverside. I'm an independent agent. If you want to go over to the next slide, Laura. And we're going to cover the types of business insurance more applicable for the shops, and what insurance you guys have to offer is going to be probably a small what we call a BOP, a business owner's policy, because it's a comprehensive policy that has everything that you need. And if you go to the next slide, like your business will basically dictate what kind of coverage you need. So commercial insurance, I feel like sometimes when people call me, especially new business owners, they call saying, I need a certificate of insurance. they don't call with the mindset of, I need to protect my business from anything that might happen. They call with like, hey, I'm opening up a business and the town is requiring me to carry this. And it kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I love insurance. And really, if you look at insurance, insurance was made to protect everything that could destroy your business. I mean, you have insurance for your car, for your home, for your apartment. Sometimes some have life insurance. And what that does is it protects you against financial disaster, right? And so I encourage you to change your mindset. And instead of saying like, I have to get insurance, say like, no, I want to look at insurance and I want to think of it as protecting everything that could have like make me go under. Is it theft? Is it loss of income? Is it protecting your product if you're ever sued? Is it people coming onto your premises and they fall and then you get sued? So really look at insurance differently, because you know the different types of commercial insurance you could see on the slide, they don't just protect you from theft, but it's also from lawsuits. And if you go to the next slide, when you invest the time and not just the money, but the time in educating yourself on what's covered and what's not covered, that's going to save you a lot of headaches. You know, unfortunately, with the recent storms, I always do my best to sit down with new homeowners, existing homeowners, and review everything. You would not imagine the amount of calls that we got from July 2nd to July 5th asking, do I have water backup? Do I have this? Is my house covered for that? Because you know what, when disaster strikes, you can't go buy insurance after you've been a victim of theft, hail damage, water damage, or anything. So you really have to see it as like, you know what, every year I'm going to allocate 30 minutes to an hour to sit down with my agent to make sure that my business is protected, not only against like natural weather elements, but against anything that could affect me if anybody sues me. And if you want to go to the next slide. So let's dive into the different types. So lots of times people call me and they don't know what they need. They say, I just want the general liability. I just want what the town is making me carry, or the city. And general liability is just going to cover you if you're sued. It's not going to cover your personal property. That's property insurance. So I tell people, when you start your business, imagine like, you know, the Berwyn centers. They're cute little houses, right? You don't own the structure, so you don't have to worry about the structure, but maybe you invested a lot of money in making that structure your own and you want to insure the investment you put into it, whether it's 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is, you can do that. It's called building improvements and betterment, and you can insure that. But imagine that you could pick up that little casita, shake it. Everything that falls out is considered your business property, whether it's inventory, whether it's registers, equipment, the racks that you use to display your things. So when you look at your policy, I want to encourage you to say, like, if I could pick up this little house, shake it, and everything falls out, what would be the value of that? And that's the coverage that you should carry for business property. And then commercial auto insurance. I mean, lots of times I see people drive around with cars with their logo, but say you have an assistant and you make them run to the bank to make a deposit, they get in a car accident, they start to dig a little deeper, like, oh, you hit me, where are you coming from? Oh, I had to go to the bank. You just, you know, you can get involved in a lawsuit that way. So you want to make sure that if you are lending your car to an employee to pick up merchandise, to run around, that number one, your insurer knows that you're using it for commercial use, that you're being honest about the drivers that you have on there, because I've seen insureds forget to call and add a driver, and then there's no coverage. And so you want to be cognizant of anybody that you have driving the vehicle, that you add them. And then the last one is workers' comp insurance. And sometimes people think like, oh, you know, well, how could they get hurt or nothing will happen? Well, I've seen a lot of freak accidents. I mean, I insure a lot of businesses, and one was in an grocery store. The client was standing, the cashier was standing, bringing people up, and all of a sudden, the mat that she was on, she just lost her balance and she broke her ankle. And so you might think like, that was not a dangerous job to be a cashier, but yet she broke her ankle, was out of work. And if the client didn't have workers' comp, they would have faced an awful lawsuit because workers' comp is the law. So I encourage you to also look at workers' comp for your small business. It's often overlooked. And again, until an employee gets hurt, I get those calls saying like, what if someone got hurt like this? Does my normal general liability cover it? And it doesn't. That's specific to employees, workers' comp, and it's based off of your payroll. So if the payroll is not much, the workers' compensation premium will be lower. The riskier the job, the more expensive it's going to be. Roofers are like the most expensive class. And so I don't think there's any roofers on the line, so we won't talk about that. But if you want to go to the next slide, Laura. So liability insurance, this type of commercial insurance that covers common risks like damage to your premises, injury to customers or employees. It's also, you can have professional liability, like if you're a beautician, let's say that you're doing someone's hair and you hurt them, or if you're doing like eyebrows or anything, you can have professional liability in case someone says like, look, my hair fell off or you burnt my skin, I'm going to sue you. You want to make sure you have professional liability in that case. And you can go to the next slide. So the property insurance we talked about a little bit, and that's just making sure everything is covered. There's a business that I own where the tenants didn't have a business, like any of the walls insured. All they had was their equipment, their stuff inside. So one of the things that I want you, like if you're all at the Berwyn shops, just think of like how much you invested in there. And maybe it's only 1,000, maybe it's only 5,000, whatever it is, you can list that on your policy. But if you ever move out of the Berwyn shops and you move into something else, I want to challenge you that whatever you invest in the building, whether it's floors or something custom, cabinets, that you insure all of that. Because what we found was that when my insured looked at her lease, the landlord made her responsible for everything, including the AC, the heating, the sump pump. And if you're not aware of, usually it's in like triple net leases, if you're not aware of what you're responsible for, then how can you properly insure it? So make sure you have an understanding, because some landlords are like, I'll cover everything. And some landlords shift that off to you. So it's important to look at your leases when you're seeking insurance for your business. And we could go to the next one. We covered the commercial auto, like if you're just using the auto for your business to transport goods, services, whatever it is, and you have someone else driving it, make sure that you're properly covered. And, if you are using it for commercial use, let your insurer know. You don't want to, have a logo on there and then the adjuster come out and say like, oh, you run a business. So you just want to talk about things with your insurance agent and be transparent. Do you think I can have the screen just for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll stop sharing, okay?
thank you. Does anyone have any questions? You guys can ask me questions while I navigate to what I'm looking for. Oh, so this is a good example though. This is the certificate of insurance, and a lot of people, they call me.
I'm sorry, can you share it?
Oh yeah, let's see. Let me see. Sorry, I thought I hit share.
Does it let you, Elizabeth?
No, it's not letting me.
Okay, hold on. Let me go here and make you a co-host. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, go ahead. And if that doesn't work, I'll make you a host right now.
Oh, I lost the Zoom screen. here. Well, I'm sure, like you guys know what the you guys had to get it when the shops are all open in Berwyn. So Berwyn makes the business owners hold business insurance. And so that certificate of insurance, I was gonna break down what the stuff meant, but I can't seem to.
Do you want to give me the website or is it a presentation you have?
No, it was just a certificate. Someone called me before
Oh.
the meeting saying, I can't get paid for a job until I show them I have insurance. And it was like 10:55, and of course they needed it as an emergency. So
Oh,
it was funny that
okay.
it just popped up. But I'm not gonna share my screen, but my website, I'll type it in the chat. If anybody has questions or wants to dig a little deeper, there's a lot of information there. And then if you guys want to review your insurance, we can always set up an appointment through Calendly or,
Ariana, are you holding up your certificate of
Yeah.
insurance?
Oh, you have
Yeah.
it? Yeah? Oh, that's your business insurance, but wait, I can see.
I
it.
have my other one too, but it kind of looks very similar to this.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if it said it let me, but what kind of business do you have?
I have a candle business.
Okay, so yeah,
Mhm.
your business basically covers your inventory. It should cover, I mean, candles can't really hurt people too much, but like, I know there's like,
Actually,
oh,
really,
what
that
happened?
well, for me, for my when I've been having business insurance for a few years now. And so when I got it, I wanted to make sure that, so technically my insurance covers anything that I manufacture, especially candles, like God forbid, um, you know, somebody leaves their candle unattended and it causes like a fire or something like that. So right now I have a $1 million policy, but I think I'm going to up it up to 2 million, just in case somebody's house is worth more than 1 million. Um, so that I have a liability insurance for that, and then I have the insurance for the shop as well.
Yeah, manufacturers are well, manufacturing when I had a lady that was making granola, so she had like, if they got sick from it or if they got anything, any side effects from the granola. So it's important. And then if you look at, when you ask your agent, going from 1 million to 2 million is not as expensive as some people think. It's a big jump in coverage, but sometimes it's like $30-40. It's like a no-brainer. And I always tell people, I'd rather have you be mad at me for paying $40 more than for being out $1 million, and losing your business. So that's good.
We do have one question, Ariana. Oh, well, Ariana is asking a question. It says here it has employees under liability. Can you clarify that versus workers' comp?
So when you hire somebody, the difference is workers' comp covers your employee in case they get hurt. Lots of times people think, well, if that employee sues me, then it should be like my general liability. No, general liability is going to cover you from, the public suing you. But when it comes down to your employees, also, you can add certain coverages like to your general liability, like employer practices. And that would cover you if, say, I come to your business and I ask for a job and I say, you know what, she was really racist towards me because I was Mexican. I'm going to sue them because they probably don't hire Mexicans or whatever. And so that's employer liability. And that's found in the part of your policy where it is the general liability. It also covers you when you're running a business. I've had insure bakeries, and it turned out that one of the bakers was harassing the cashier. Well, the baker didn't get sued because, there was no money to go after. The business got sued for not overseeing a good work environment, a positive work environment, safe work environment. And so that too is an endorsement you can add to your policy to protect yourself, because sometimes we don't know what our employees do when we're not there. Cameras help a lot with that. But it's just good to know like what your exposure is, right? What your exposure is with employees and just having the right coverage. Workers' comp is directly correlated to the task that the person does and the payroll that they're getting. So the amount of money that they're getting paid for their job. So if someone's just sitting at a desk doing admin, or, that rate's not that expensive.
And let me know, Olivia, is this true or not? Even if they just hired 1099 contractors, and if they get hurt while they're working for them, wouldn't they go after their working compensation also, the employers, even though they're
So-
contractors?
So with a 1099, if you're hiring someone that is, oh wait, hold on. Okay, with a 1099, if you hire somebody and you say like, oh, they're independent, they're 1099, I don't charge them, they're not a W-2 employee, you'll have to give their certificate of insurance. And you'll also have to make sure that on their certificate of insurance, they not only have their general liability, but they have their workers' comp. Because then they can add you either as an additional insured or certificate holder, and that protects you. So let's say that I run a salon and that someone rents a seat from me, and I say, hey, she's not my employee, she comes and goes as she wants. Well, your policy covers you. Your policy is not covering her because she's not your employee. You don't need workers' comp for her because, again, she's not her employee. You don't tell her what time to come in. You don't tell her what time to leave. She runs her own appointments. She also, because she's working in your shop, needs to carry the general liability for herself and the professional liability and her own. I don't know if she'll have like they call it a non-owner workers' comp. So that way, if she gets hurt in your shop, she can't turn around and sue you because she acknowledged, number one, I'm not your employee. Number two, I'm truly independent by having the general liability, the professional liability, and the workers' comp. When people get audited for workers' comp, the number one thing was, well, that's not my employee, they're 1099. And the auditor's fine with that, but you have to furnish that certificate, the same one you furnish to the town of Berwyn. The box that says general liability has to be filled out, and the box that says workers' comp has to be filled out. And you should be listed as an additional insured. That protects you from getting sued. So that if someone's like, well, Maria burnt off my hair and look at how it looks, now I'm going to sue you because you let Maria work in your shop.
Mhm.
So this just protects everybody by being listed as an additional insured.
This is great, because there's a lot of people that skip that step, and then they do
all the
get
time.
sued. Yes, and then they're
Especially
thinking,
like if you own
Mhm.
properties, I see a lot of Latinos, especially because that's what I mostly work with. They're like, oh, I can't make them get renter's insurance. They just won't listen to me. I'm like, no, you put it in the lease that they have to have renter's insurance, and they must list you as an additional insured, so that way, if your renter causes damage, causes a fire, your insurance company can go against their insurance company and you can recoup that money, and it's not like, sometimes it won't even be a claim on your property depending on the loss. But so many people overlook that part, and I'm like, no, you have to be listed as an additional insured. I challenge you to try to move somewhere in a high-rise downtown and see if they
Mhm.
don't make you carry insurance. I
yes,
mean, why should you be any different? You paid for that 3-unit or that 6-unit, whatever it is, and you have to protect your assets. The people downtown, the big development property management companies are protecting their assets. We should be doing the same.
yes, and especially with all these storms that happen, a lot of tenants are going back to the landlord wanting to get compensated for their losses, and they turn back around and say, no, it's your renter's insurance, or you should, I only insure the building. You have to insure what's inside that
Yeah,
unit.
and if you live in the basement or first floor that got flooded, not only do you need renters, but you need sewer water backup or flood, like a combination, because in this last storm, the renters that even called were like mad. They're like, how? I have renter's insurance. Well, yeah, but you don't have the water backup, and that was the cause of the damage. You have against theft, fire, vandalism, frozen pipe, but you don't have it for water backup. So it's important to get that if you're on a first floor as well, especially business owners too should have
Mhm.
it if they store anything in a basement. I mean, even first floors got flooded.
Yeah, I had an Allstate agency in Little Village, and that building just kept flooding the first floor. It wasn't even a basement. It kept ruining the people's, and one of them was curved at the time, and it was all carpeted. It was, and you're right. She ended up losing a lot of money from there. We do have another question, Libby, and it says, what if it's an internship? How do we protect ourselves in our business?
The internship, are you paying them like an employee? So it's like, they're a W-2 employee or like,
Maria, you could unmute yourself to ask that question. I'm gonna see that.
oh, you
So-
don't pay them.
So we
Gotcha.
wouldn't pay them I believe it's the university or the internship that they're going through that will pay them. So we would just hire them and then like send that application to them and then they process all that separately.
Okay, so if you don't pay them, you're technically not, they're not on payroll, so they're not an employee, they're workers. They're just,
That's exactly like Evelyn said, that WEX program, the employees don't pay them. The payroll goes directly through their organization, and they're more like the HR.
and do
That's
you
how
have
they
any other
protect.
employees?
So no, so they would be in the shop if we weren't there, but we're the owners.
I'll ask because I haven't had that question before. What, could you put in the chat like a good email address for you?
Yes. Also, Maria, I know you're asking this question, so, I don't know if you already signed like the contract that Dominican University sends over. So I would look over that first and see what they're saying about that as well. Because I think that would be a good question for the university, especially because they're the ones putting these internships together and they're the ones that are paying. So I would look over the contract because they do make you sign one. And then maybe ask what, and then that would be a good question for them to answer. Because and then if that's the case, then all these interns that are, coming in and getting rotated, they would need to have like their own insurance. But like me as a business, I wonder, like, I know that they must have to do something or like they have their own ways, but me as a business, I want to protect myself from that. Like even an intern, because they'll be
Well,
in
right.
the shop working. So like
Right.
I would just like to know what I as a business have to do because it's a little like this is my first time. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And
for sure.
Maria, what kind of business do you have?
So I have Bath Body Apothecary, but it's everything. So we handle tea, local honey, coffee, my bath and body products, which are soaps, emulsified sugar scrubs, a lot of things in one.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that I know what to do as a business. If that's just an intern, I know it's separate, but like, how should I protect my business from, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'll reach out to one of my underwriters and ask the question. And
Yeah.
then I'll send you an email, if not later this afternoon, tomorrow.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good
Well,
question.
if there's no other questions for Libby, I know we do, since Ruth could not attend, I'm actually going to go over her slides. I do have to have full disclosure here. I'm not an HR specialist, but she has an awesome presentation that I would like to show you and also share some worksheets with you. So any other questions? I'm going to look in the chat before I start Ruth's presentation. No, I don't see any more. Thank you very much, Libby. You're more than welcome to stay on. But if not, then let us know and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, thank you,
Whenever you're
Laura.
available.
Good luck,
No.
ladies. Congrats on having your business, and I'll have to stop and visit you soon.
Okay, thank you. Oh, there is, hold on. I honestly don't remember anything about this on the contract. I'll have to look over. Okay, Rihanna was saying that. All right, thank you, Libby. Okay, we'll start off now with the other presentation. Let me know if you see it. And it starts off with, what is human resources? Give me a thumbs up so I could view, because, or let me know. Can you view the presentation, guys?
Yeah, it's very small. Can you make it, is there a way to make it bigger, Laura?
Let me see. I would have to share a different screen. Give me a second, okay? Is it, I probably didn't share the right one, so give me a second. Okay. Let me share. How does that look?
Mm,
Is it the same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay. Is it no? Better?
No, it hasn't changed yet.
Oh, wow.
You may need to put it in presenter mode. That usually does full screen. I don't know if you have it, like the other slides had
Oh.
notes for editors.
Oh, I do have it on, I think it's not grabbing my second screen. So give me a second. All right, I'm gonna remove it and completely put it in a different one. And I'm gonna go ahead and share it. Give me a second. Other than that, I'm gonna have to just continue on and I'll send you the information, okay? Because if for some reason it's not allowing me like it did with. Do you see it better?
Not really. It hasn't changed.
Oh, okay, so sorry
Okay,
about that.
yeah, you'll send it to everyone anyway after today's
Yeah,
program.
I'll send it to everybody. It is great information. So I'll start off with this. Let me go back to the first ones. Well, HR, what is human resources? It is a department within the organization that is responsible for managing and overseeing various aspects of your business, aspects of the related to the employees. HR's main function is to include recruitment and hiring, onboarding, employee relations, performance management, compensation and benefits, training and development, and compliance. As you can see here, HR is very important because not having an HR can get expensive very fast, such as Libby mentioned when it comes down to insurance. But here you need to have policy handbook, safety policy, drug and alcohol policy, sexual harassment prevention training, criminal background checks, some do, some don't, compensation laws, timekeeping, discrimination policies, company property policy, employee separation processes and policies, and unemployment. So when hiring employees or adding to your team, you want to be very clear with what your expectations are. Hire for attitude, so that means technical skills are easier to train, but behavior challenges are difficult to change and can spread to the rest of the team. Do your due diligence, call their past employers and get references, run required background checks if necessary. Phone interviews, asking the right questions will save you time in the hiring process. When Evelyn Lopez was talking earlier, she not only works with OJT and the WEX program, but they also can assist you from virtual and in-person job fairs to assisting you with acquiring those interviewing questions and creating job descriptions at no cost to you. And the last one of the last bullet point here, it says creative and attractive job postings that will attract the talent. Okay. Training during the 30, 60, and 90 days is very critical for the success of the employee. For comprehension, different training may be necessary. So you need to test for validation and do follow-up. Getting employee feedback on training is also key for support and building trust. And don't jeopardize your reputation because of weak training. This is very important. Okay, retaining is then also important because as much money that you invest to bring in an employee, retaining one is also a good investment because you don't want to lose a top producer or someone that does very well within the company. So remember their yearly anniversaries, birthdays, and special holidays such as Thanksgiving and Christmas. Find out what makes your top performers happy and keep doing that, or add it to surveys, conversations, and follow-up as necessary. You should have an open door policy. It's key to make sure communication is happening and challenges are nipped right off the bat. Rewarding and recognizing employees help with morale. Remove the negative, non-performing time wasters. People will leave because of them. Now that's difficult to do because you have to have policies and procedures in place. So in all businesses, you should have policies and procedures for all you do, from answering a phone call to even job fairs, to even the process of hiring someone. That being said, here you have a beautiful employee life cycle that Ruth from Workforce Works has created. We will be sharing Ruth's new hire checklist also, and other worksheets that will help you on your first hire. We'll be sending that email out shortly. Okay, so as mentioned, the life cycle starts off where it says here, there's an offer letter, and then you get them hired. Either you decide to go with a 1099 contractor or an employee. Then it moves on to onboarding and orientation, going over company policy. This is very critical because you want them to know what to expect, and also you want to make sure that those expectations are met. You move on to new hire paperwork, application, new hire checklist, and other legal documents. Then on the first day of work, you follow up with them. You make sure that, there's a check-in point somewhere, maybe 40, 50 days, usually per Ruth's life cycle. She has it at 60 days, but I would say have a check-in point every week at least when they're first starting in the first 30 days. For training, benefits, and performance and behavior. Miscellaneous employee relations, such as open door policy, we went over that already, employee accidents. You'll get this life cycle, so that at least something that you can start thinking about, okay? Then it moves on to next review, which will be a semi-annual review or an annual review. Lastly, but not least, we do have performance improvement plans. It gives you a chance to identify specific problems and solutions, or to actually, what is the word I'm looking for? Actually, be aware that they are doing well, and give them some sort of acknowledgement. And at the end, if they decide to leave on their own, or you need to terminate them, you will have to have some sort of exit interview or an exit checklist. In the bottom, you'll see a little formula. It says productivity plus time equals money. So every new employee onboarding takes time to bring them in, and to also fill that position up, it takes more time also. So we don't want to waste any money. So Workforce Solution is one of the subject matter experts we work for. These are the benefits in working with a person like Ruth at Workforce Works. They're fast, responsive benefits, agency, they're bilingual. And I'm going to put up their information up here. So if anybody needs it, you could go ahead and reach out to her, and she will contact you. But I will also go ahead and email you the free worksheets that she gave us when we have other presentations. I do apologize that she was not able to attend, but I really feel that she is wealth of information that she has to share with us. And that will be the ending of this presentation. Sorry that we took so long, but I wanted to be able to share this information. Okay, I have some questions here. Okay, I will, Libby, I'll send you that information. Ariana, okay. Ariana sent out an email. I think that's for you, Libby.
Oh, hey, Laura, I just wanted to tell you, this was a great topic. I'm sad that more people weren't on it, but you know what? We started in the business. I know you were an entrepreneur, and we didn't have all this stuff. We had to figure it all out on our
Yeah,
own.
I
And
know.
with staffing, I wrote to the girls and I was like, who's the person at Dominican? Because sometimes, you know what, guys, you're so busy grinding in your business
Mhm.
that you're not making time to look for the resources to help you. And unfortunately, sometimes like we have that mentality that we have to figure things out on our own, and you don't. Like this resource with the Women's Business Development Center has been such a blessing. Take advantage of it. And thank you for sharing with me, guys, the Dominican contact, because I'm going to reach out, because one thing all business owners have been facing is employee shortage, or no one wants to work. So hearing that you guys have some interns, I'm like, I have to get on it too, so we can always learn from each other.
You know who does that too, Libby? DePaul University.
Really?
So yes, I was actually an intern. When I went to school there, I was in the honors marketing program, and they have this fabulous program that I believe Dr. Kelly's still there. And if you want his information, I'll give it to you. But
Please do. I gotta recoup all that tuition I paid them.
I know, right? Me too. So what happens with them, we need a grade for our honors program, and we are more than willing to work sometimes for free. So a lot of these internships, they did not pay us. We would just attend, and I remember my internship, I had to come up with marketing strategies and marketing plans for 3 companies. But it was exciting for me because I was able to work for 3 big companies, and I was just a student. Mhm,
That is exciting. Well,
mhm.
thank you, Laura. I appreciate your time. And ladies, I wish you all the best.
No, thank you, everyone. And
Thank you,
we'll end up
Libby.
signing off. Thank you, guys. But if you have any questions, go ahead, shoot before you hang up. It's 12 o'clock. Well, email us, okay? Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Don't forget your
Thank
umbrellas.
you, Laura.
All right, bye.